Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Um,
And I think I've accidentally given you the perfect segue to your solo review, Daniel.
yes, nothing. Yeah, speaking of nothing burgers. Uh,
So Daniel has once again braved the depths of Disney Plus to be our underappreciated, underpaid Disney Plus correspondent.
yes. Yeah, I braved Disney Plus this weekend and watched The Fantastic Four: First Steps. And of course, this is Marvel's attempt to bring Marvel's first family to the big screen. Um, we had Roger Corman, who had his own version that never got released.
Right, he couldn't. This at least has that over that version where it actually got to big screen.
Yes, yeah. Then there were the two movies in the 2000s with Jessica Alba playing Sue Storm, and then Michael Chiklis was the Thing.
But
Chris Evans was Johnny Storm. Yeah,
I remember that Stan Lee at the time said that he thought that like around that time he thought that Michael Chiklis was like the best translation of one of his characters, which yeah, I can see that.
yeah, I can too. Yeah, um, I prefer Chiklis's version of Ben Grimm over the one that's in this movie. I will say.
Yeah, yeah. The less said about Fan Four Stick, the better, because it's
Yeah,
like it was basically as far okay, not having seen it directly, but having watched reviews and seen clips and talked to people who have watched that movie.
yeah.
Um, uh, it sounds like it's basically like the worst aspects of the Snyderverse bolted onto the Fantastic Four.
Oof.
They
Yeah,
just wanted to be a legend or a an edgy boy.
yeah, yeah. Well, which, given what I heard about the director, doesn't surprise me. But much like Roger Corman's Fantastic Four movie, Fan Four Stick was also made just so that 20th Century Fox could retain the rights to the Fantastic Four. Um, and but but to get into this movie, um, you've got so it takes place. So a lot of people thought it takes place in the 1960s. It doesn't. It actually takes place on Earth 828,
Are you aware of any
which is a retro futuristic Earth. Yeah.
are you aware of any like
So,
jokey meaning behind that number that was chosen?
no, I don't.
Okay, I don't either, but I'm just curious if like there's like some sort of obscure Fantastic Four reference that covers it.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know much about the Fantastic Four, so I can't really like. I know the basics of the characters, and that's about it. Um, but yeah, so they're on this, so we're on this retro future. Basically, what people in the 1960s thought the world would be like today. Um, and we've Sue and Reed Richards, they're married, and they find out that Sue's pregnant, and of course, they've been the Fantastic Four for 4 years. And basically, the first 20 minutes of the movie is just like a montage of them, of like their origins, and then with their adventures, and doing all their Fantastic Four stuff. They're like fighting Mole Man. Mole Man, by the way, is played by Paul Walter Hauser, who we saw last week in Naked Gun. He's Liam Neeson's partner. And so you've got this montage, and then you've got the dynamics between everybody. Like Sue is, of course, very pregnant, and then Reed still carries a lot of guilt about the fact that the with the cosmic rays that gave him their powers, he still feels he didn't calculate for it and all that. And then you got Johnny. Johnny wants to go back to space. Why he wants to go back to space, don't really know. I guess just to go back to space.
Because he has to want something.
Yes, yeah. And then Ben Grimm is just kind of there. There is one scene in there where he goes to Brooklyn to get some black and white cookies from this one particular bakery, and then he kind of has this little in a little flirtation with a school teacher. But then right as all this stuff's going on, that's when Shalabal shows up and heralds the coming of Galactus. And so rather than wait around for Galactus to show up, the Fantastic Four decide, okay, well, we're just going to go to him. So they get on their spaceship, the Excelsior, which, if you know anything about Marvel, you know why the ship's called the Excelsior. And they go up to meet Galactus on his giant ship. And of course, Galactus discovers, of course, sees that Sue is pregnant, and then sees that their unborn son, Franklin, has the power that he wants to free him from his eternal hunger. So basically, Galactus wants Franklin to take his place. And so Galactus induces labor, and then as they're making their escape from Galactus, Sue gives birth, and of course, Galactus says, well, if you give me the kid, I won't destroy Earth. So then we have this whole ethical quandary about, well, what's the life of one baby for billions of humans and all that. And then the rest of it is just them trying to find another way to save the Earth from Galactus. And you've also got this other subplot with Johnny, where he's trying to figure out he has these awkward flirting moments with her, where he's because he's Johnny Storm, he's got to flirt with every woman, and he does that with Shalabal, and Shalabal is just like, you're an idiot, and of course he's basically trying to figure her out, and then he kind of basically guilt trips her into because we get a little bit of her backstory, where she was like a scientist on another planet that was targeted by Galactus, and then she sold her soul to Galactus basically to save her planet, but then she goes around and picks all these other planets to destroy. But yeah, the movie is just it's very dull. There's a reason why some YouTube critics have called this fantastic bore, because it's really not interesting.
Right. So it's basically got nothing to recommend it.
No, I think I will say there's nothing I know there's certain people that are talking about if it had a certain political leaning or a certain agenda. It really doesn't. I think where they're getting that from is a couple of moments with Sue Storm, but I didn't really read that as being a certain 4-letter word that starts with W. It was just
Wombo.
Yes, yeah.
Get Wombo, go Wombo, get Slombo, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I didn't read it that way. I just read it as a mom. She was a mom pleading for the life of her son. That's how I interpreted it. But the third act was just really it was predictable. Spoilers if you don't want to be spoiled. So initially their plan was, they built all these teleportation pylons all around the world, and their plan was to teleport the Earth to another part of the galaxy so that Galactus couldn't find them, or it would take millions of years for Galactus to find them. Well, right as they're about to teleport the Earth, Shalabal shows up and destroys all of them except for the one that's in the middle of Times Square. And so then Reed comes up with the plan, we'll use Franklin as bait to get Galactus into the pylon in Times Square, and then we'll teleport him to the edge of the universe. Well, care to guess what happens?
He manages to just slough it off or something.
No, he's about to. So what they did was they had Franklin in the middle there, and then Galactus is walking along Manhattan Island to Times Square to get Franklin. And then what they did was they blinded him for a second, swapped out Franklin's carrier for an empty one, and then right as Galactus is about to step inside there, he's like, "No!" And then he sees that the carrier that's in front of him is empty. So then he goes and gets Franklin from the Baxter Building.
You're not gonna fool me. I'm Galactus.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then big destruction, mayhem, and everything, and then Sue uses all of her powers to push Galactus into the portal, and then sends him away. But then Sue dies, and everybody's really sad. But then Reed puts Franklin on top of Sue, and then Franklin's powers bring her back to life.
Like happens in reality.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, this is just like, it's. I would say it's not as good as Superman. They came out like a couple of weeks before this one. And Superman had its issues, but I mean, I enjoyed that movie more than this one.
Right, like Superman was like the movie had heart. Like it meant well. This sounds like it was like, okay, guys, we need something for the third quarter, or for the whatever quarter, for the summer. We need something for the summer season. And dang it, we're going to make this Fantastic Four thing work this time.
Yes, and we got Pedro Pascal. What could possibly go wrong?
Everybody loves him. He's a zaddy, right? That's what the kids are into.
Yeah.
God, I will never forgive this movie for forcing me to learn what that meant.
Yeah. But although I will say, and also a quick spoiler for the post-credits scene, they flash forward 4 years, and Franklin's a little kid, and Sue's reading him some stories, and then she goes back to the living room where he is, and guess who's in the living room with Franklin?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, but you don't see his face. You just see the hood and him holding the mask. Yeah.
Because, as though they hadn't just completely spoiled that that's what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I can't really recommend this movie. It's I don't know why. Like I don't know why it's so hard for them to make a good Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, it's strange, because it's like, if you could make a workable Guardians of the Galaxy movie, like Fantastic Four should be easy mode.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I had it my way, I would just reboot all of Marvel and just start over from the beginning, or just like stop making Marvel movies for about 5 years, and then
Right, give them a chance to rest up and come up with some new ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.